This little video series is called Dying Dor's Way, Radically Real Spiels on the End of Life. I'm here today with my friend Sylvia, and she's prepared a few questions, starting with...
When we talked the other day, I congratulated you on how centered and calm you are, and that it's clear you get your strength there. And let's talk a little bit about the ways emotional and physical health are tied together.
Okay, personally, I can't disconnect them. I've been practicing for decades, really, to create a life in which physical health, mental health, and emotional health are basically indistinguishable, and that whatever you do in your physical life supports your mental well-being, and so forth. Now, because of my particular biases, a lot of this has to do with the physical health that comes from taking care of your body, including how you nourish yourself, especially how you nourish yourself, and then bringing it in from all angles. In fact, I've even started a nonprofit organization called the Suppers Programs, in which we ask people to elevate their understanding of what health is, to include all aspects of their being rather than isolating the emotional from the psychological, from the spiritual, and just making a life's practice. Again, it's a life's practice of bringing it all together.
So building on that, what Dor is doing is absolutely optimizing the self-healing part of her body. So in my work in medical care, and then in what's called energy psychology, you learn very deeply that your fight or flight response when you feel stressed shuts down your self-healing components that's in your parasympathetic nervous system versus your sympathetic nervous system. So what Dor has had is sort of a complete commitment to optimizing the self-healing that's within her.
Sure, and I can say we've institutionalized that as well, because here is the little non-judgment logo that we have pasted. Literally, I had 200 of these things printed all over my kitchen, my dining room, the bathroom, right next to the bathroom mirror. We have these little no judgment zone signs everywhere, because just as we don't heal in the presence of anxiety, my understanding is that we don't heal in the presence of judgment. So I actually, in my nonprofit organization, made it a requirement that we own our sacred spaces, that we own our home spaces, and in my case, gardens especially, and that we insist on zones of no judgment. And probably just because you say there's such a tight relationship between feeling anxiety and feeling judged.
So building on that, this is, again, Dor talks about a lifetime of relating to your emotional well-being as preparation for handling things that are hard, like cancer. This is what I keep above my desk, and it's for years. Anxiety does not rob tomorrow of its sorrow. It robs today of its strength.
Right.
And the concept of keeping equanimity, whether things are good or bad, whether your health is good or bad, whether bad things are happening or not, is a strength-giving concept that I sort of think Dor exemplifies, and that I am committed to myself.
Could I just add something while we're on this subject? The whole theme of relative equanimity comes up over and over for me, because even long before I found out that I had terminal cancer, I was saying to my friends or children or anyone who would listen that one of the greatest gifts that we can give our children is to handle our own mortality, handle our own death process with relative equanimity. And now that I'm in the middle and almost all the way through the process of preparing for death, I can say that I remain true to this idea that there's probably no better gift that you can give your children than to handle your own death and death preparation with relative equanimity.
And
That's a
I think
great
to
thing.
build on that, emotion, like many diseases, is catching. And Dor is sending out an emotion that's positive. Positive and negative emotions are both catching. And she's sending that out. It is a gift. It's a gift to your children. And by doing these videos and recognizing that this is a gift you want to give further, I want to just say I am so committed to spreading the word about the messages you're sending. Because it will make a difference in the lives of people who just don't have very many role models for this kind of equanimity and acceptance. And it does indeed lengthen your life. Your life has been lengthened.
Oh,
by
my
your
life
calmness.
is definitely lengthened. Yeah, I would love to believe that this is true. You know, depending on where you look in the hospice literature, you can expect a few more months of life, even with a terminal diagnosis, once you're on hospice care. And I'm sure that the sense of comfort that you will be taken care of, and the comfort of having a well-managed dying process has a lot to do with the quality and the extension of life.
And yes, and your well-being, and your even being with less pain throughout. Yes. And so this is a good note to end on, spreading this word. And if you've watched this and you know people who might want to see it, share it, because these are the best messages you can imagine.
And thank you, Sylvia.
And
thank you, Violet.
Okay. Finish?
Finish.